Everyone, so today I want to talk about what to think about when the brain protects you. So what does that mean exactly? Well, the brain tries to protect us in the best way possible, right? Well, it thinks it's the best way possible, and sometimes it is, but in other times it's not. Why? Because it's stopping us from doing something that we may be able to do, but we don't have the confidence behind to do it, right? So I'm going to give you a couple scenarios, a couple things I'm going to talk about today, right? First one I want to talk about is pain. Right? We know, we've all experienced what the worst pain that we have ever felt is, whatever that is. But that's what the brain knows, is that worst pain that we have ever felt, that sharp stabbing pain from breaking a bone, right? From maybe giving birth, whatever the case may be, right? But we know what pain feels like, okay? And that's what the brain knows. Well, it's going to interpret everything else as that pain, right? I have clients say to me, if they're standing up out of a chair, they say, oh, I've got really bad pain in my knees. And I'm like, is it a sharp stabbing pain? Is it muscle soreness? Is it an ache? Is it tiredness? Define what it is. And the more I ask them the questions, they're like, oh, no, it's not a sharp stabbing pain. Well, I get a little bit of an ache here, I get a little bit of a pull here, I get a muscle soreness, or maybe they actually do get a little bit of pain in their knee when they get up, right? So then I'm asking them again, well, how is your foot pressure and things like that, right? But again, going back to it, the brain's going to interpret any type of discomfort that you have as the worst pain you've ever had. And we're going to say, I'm in pain, but really you may not be in pain. What you may have is muscle soreness, tiredness in the knee or the leg or the muscle, whatever the case may be, weakness, so on and so forth, right? There's a fear that happens from experiencing that worst pain that we ever had, right? And again, the brain doesn't want to experience that. So, it will prep us for that pain if we're used to it, right? So one of the cases may be, and I'm going to kind of go over to here, is like everyday life is standing up, okay? I'm going to grab my handy dandy chair here. And here I sit, okay? Now, most of the time when we get up, we're in our knees and we're pushing from our knees and standing up. And if you have a knee injury, meniscus tear, bone on bone, have had knee surgery, and you're trying to get up from this position, then yeah, you're going to have pain or discomfort in your knees. And your brain's going to automatically tell you, hey, you don't want to get up, it's going to hurt. But if we retrain the body, retrain the brain, and be like, okay, well, let's think about how do I get rid of that, right? Well, use your quad and your glutes, your thighs and your butt, use your abdominal core and breathe out. You want to stand straight up. Okay, this is very hard to do, especially if you're so used to being in the ski jumper position to stand up, right? Quads, glutes, and your abdominal core, breathe out. No longer am I pushing through my knee, right? I also tell my clients, push through your heels as you stand up, all right? Again, you're not going to push through your knee. Thinking about pushing through your heels is going to help you to stand up. The other thing I have people tell me is they feel discomfort, pain on the sides of their knees. Again, is it sharp stabby? Or is it a muscle soreness? Is it an ache? Is it tiredness? What is it? And a lot of that also stems of how we press with our feet. Sometimes we're going to press, I'm exaggerating here, on the outside sides of our feet or the insides of our feet, right? But we're doing this in our shoe, and it's not noticeable, right, to the human eye. But you could be pressing on the outsides of your feet. Well, then you're going to feel it in your knees out here. If you're pressing on the inside of your feet, you're going to be here. You want to be full-footed. Get your abdominal core, stand up, breathe out, right? So that's one way to tell the brain, hey, look, we train the brain to use the thigh and the butt to help us stand up and push through our heels, right? Now we know this. We tell the brain's like, okay, now we're going on through everyday life. We go to get out of a chair at home, right? And we go to stand up, we feel the pain all of a sudden, and we're like, wait a minute. Brain's like, wait a minute, this isn't right. We know how to correct this, right? So we do it again. What did we do wrong? Did we push through our feet? Did we have our feet too far back, right? Because a lot of time we'll have our feet all the way back, maybe on the balls of our feet, and try to push up through our knees. So if we learn the proper way and tell the brain how to do a sit to stand, how to get up out of a chair using the right muscles, when the pain does appear for some reason, because everyday life happens and we forget and we don't do it properly. It happens to me too. And we catch ourselves. The brain's like, hey, wait a minute, what happened? We haven't had this in a while. Hey, maybe we need to correct how we got up out of the chair, right? So in this case, we're retraining the brain and telling the brain, hey, it's okay. We're learning how to support our knee. We're learning how to support ourselves better, right? Because again, our knees are weak, and when we get up out of the chair, and if our knees are weak, we're afraid we're going to fall over, right? Because our knees can give out. But again, if we train the right muscles, the knees will be protected. We will be protected. And then we're telling the brain, hey, we're learning how to protect ourselves. And then the brain's going to be like, oh, wow, look at this. This is pretty cool, right? We know how to protect ourselves now. Muscle memory is there, right? Connecting the brain to the body. So that's just standing up and sitting down. Okay. The pain also goes up and down stairs. And I'm going to go back to knees again, only because it's a common pain that we have. Again, meniscus tear, wear and tear, arthritis, bone on bone, whatever the case may be. Okay. When we go up and down the stairs, we push through our knee, right? Again, I have to go back to the quad and glute. Squeeze your quad, squeeze your glute. Push yourself up, right? Now, this is also going to take me to exercises, okay? So, what happens during exercises with my clients, right? If the leg, the bad leg, is furthest away from, I have wall on there, but this will pretend to be my wall, right? The thing that we're holding on to, right? If the leg is furthest away from it, and we go to push ourselves up, our brain's going to be like, hey, we're not supported because we're not near the thing that's going to support us, right? So I notice my clients, I have them do step-ups like this, right? And they always have a hard time with the bad leg that's away from the thing that they're going to hold on to. So in that case, I have them turn around. I'm going to turn around really quick, right? I know my back's to you, sorry. But as they go up, then they start to feel more confident because the leg that is injured is now closer to the thing that's supporting it, okay? Again, the brain is trying to protect you. It's scared because it's away from the thing to hold on to, right? Because look, there's a gap here. But as soon as they would move the leg closer to the thing that we're holding on to, the brain's like, oh, okay, now we're better because I know I'm closer to the thing that's going to support me. So what do you do in that case? If you're exercising, turn around. If you're going up and down stairs, think about where your banisters are. It's hard because typically a banister is only on one side. And when you go up and down the stairs, right, the bad leg will always possibly be away from the banister, right? In that case, if you're close to a wall on the other side, sometimes what I will do is I'll put my forearm against the wall, right, to help support myself as I go up and down the wall, right? I can go up and down the wall naturally, but if I feel like it, my forearm goes up against the wall, and as I'm going up the stairs, my forearm acts as a way to hold myself if there's no real banister or whatever the case may be, right? So if you are trying to help yourself, right? I know you want to help yourself. When you help yourself, right? If the banister is not there, but this is the weaker side and you have a stronger leg, but the banister is farther away, go along the wall, maybe put your forearm against the wall to try to help brace yourself, right? To support the leg that needs the supporting, right? So show the brain that, hey, look, we are getting the support, because when we aren't getting the support, the brain's going to freak out. And again, make it harder to go up and down stairs. It's retraining the brain because, again, the brain's anticipating the pain that's going to go up the stairs. And it's not happy because it's further away from the thing that's supporting it. But look at the situation. How can I support myself and the bad leg, right? Or make sure you're using your quad and glute as well as you go up the stairs to see if that helps, right? Now, sometimes leading with the bad leg may help, right? Again, making sure we squeeze our quad and glute as we go up. Or if the good leg is up first, right? Make sure you use your hip to help lift the leg up, because if you're pushing up and this is the bad leg, right? Your leg's going to drag down and then it's going to pull the knee. Use your hip to help pull the leg up the rest of the way, all right? It's little things like this that can help tell the brain, hey, we're finding ways to help protect ourselves, right? So it's little things like this that help retrain the brain and have it and show the brain that, you know what, this isn't as bad as we anticipated, and there's things that we can do to help support our body, right? But it's breaking it down and looking at ways to help support the body. Okay. Another way our brain protects us is, again, going up and downstairs, getting in and out of the bathtub, right? Again, if you have a high enough bathtub and you're going up over the bathtub, right, which is pretty high up, if you pick your leg up from your knee first, what's going to happen is your toe's going to point down. When your toe points down, right, then we have a chance of tripping on the bathtub. You don't want to do that. Now the brain is freaking out because it's like, I don't want to go over the bathtub because I might trip over it, especially as we get older, right? We have a little bit less mobility. But if we train ourselves, there we go. Sometimes I have to slow down when I speak. Sometimes we have to train ourselves to pick up from our hip, not from our knee. When we pick up from our hip, our foot has a tendency to flat out, be more flat as opposed to be pointed down. So then we're definitely going to clear the object that we need to clear, especially going over a bathtub, right? And I train this with my clients a lot to exaggerate, right? If I have them go over a hurdle, pick the leg up high, and then go over it. Even though the hurdle may be very small, I want you to exaggerate the motion because in the brain and the body you're going to pick up on it, and then you're able to understand the motion. The brain starts to get it. Hey, whenever we have to go up something, I got to pick up from my hip, and maybe I have to go a little bit higher so I don't trip over the thing that we're trying to go over. Again, when you lift with your knee, the knee pulls, the leg pulls, right? And then you get that pulling sensation in your knee, and then your toe points down. Slow down, Jill. And you have the possibility of tripping. So when you're thinking about going in and out of bathtubs, say, hey, brain, you know what we're going to do? We're going to, one, hold on to something if you need to, right? Get those bath things that you can hold on to. Hold on to the wall a little bit, and pick up from the hip. And if you need to, again, bathtubs can be wide. We try to take that wide step, and then we got to get the other leg over like this, right? What ends up happening is now we're too wide, right? And now we're trying to get the other leg over, and there's a chance we're going to fall. So what's the best thing to do, right? If I'm in the bathtub here, I'm going to take a small step over so I just clear the tub on the other side. Then I'm going to take this leg, I'm going to shift this leg closer. Then I'm going to take my outside leg, shift it a little further out. That's when the leg that's in the tub comes up and over the rest of the way, right? We don't have to make grand gestures and then try to get, the other leg back over again, okay? Break things down to smaller things. I know, especially as we get older, we want to do things that we did in our youth, how we were able to just bounce in and out of the tub. No, protect yourselves. Start now. Do those little things, right? Think about the movements. Plant your foot. Make sure you're safe before you move again, especially in and out of the bathtub after you've taken a shower or a bath, because the floor may be wet in the bathroom, and the floor is definitely going to be wet in the tub. We don't want to slip, right? Make sure your foot is steady, and then bring the other foot the rest of the way. Also, engage your abdominal core. Breathe out. That's going to help support instead of sending it to your lower back, right? Which leads me into my next thing, because we use our lower back for everything, especially when we pick things up. We have a tendency to pick up from here because we shift our hips forward, and then we have a tendency to pull from our lower back. Don't pull from your lower back. Use your abdominal core, right? The brain is going to be like, I have to bend over again. My back's going to hurt. No. Use your abs and your butt, right? Be over the top of the thing you want to pick up. Engage your core, breathe out, right? The brain's going to anticipate, oh man, something's on the floor. How am I going to pick that up? I don't want to hurt my back. Well, this is one way to do it, is using your abs. Protect your lower back. The more you use your abs, the brain's going to be like, oh, hey, wait a minute. I know when we're going to pick up something now. It's not going to be as bad because I'm using my abs and my butt and my quads, right? And I'm also not going to push through my knees, right? You can squat to pick things up, but don't push through your knees, right? Push, again, through your quads, your butt, and your core. Pick things up that way. Train the brain differently to use those ways to pick up something and not your lower back, right? Because again, the brain's gonna be like, I gotta pick something up because my lower back's gonna hurt. Work the body in the way it's supposed to. Train the body in the way that we need to pick things up so that muscle memory is created and the body and the brain know what to do instead of pulling from the back. Retrain the brain, which is what we're doing in exercise. Okay, weather. Weather is another big thing. Ice. Ice is the biggest thing, and mud after rain. And rain too. But mud, ice, things like that can make us slip and fall. That goes back to the bathtub thing, making sure you are planted before you move, right? Our brain's going to see ice. Panic automatically sets in. We're going to trip, slip, fall, whatever the case may be, right? We freeze. When we panic, that's when we fall, right? We think we're protecting ourselves, but if the brain is panicking, it doesn't really know what to do. We lock our limbs, and when we lock our limbs, we slip and fall, right? Same thing on mud. If we're not cautious when we step, right, and we see mud, then we're going through it, right? And we start to feel that slipping that possibly may happen, the brain's going to freak out, which is understandable. But we have to retrain the brain to think in terms of, okay, I'm going to go on some ice. Where can I step? Where can I step to get through the ice? How can I get around the ice, right? That's the most important thing, is how can I get around the ice without having to go over the ice? If I have to go over the ice, what's the easiest way for me to go over the ice? Okay, I'm going to step a little bit, test, step, maybe test a little bit, go forward. It's a little hard on ice, I know, because if we test, we could slip. But if we think about using our abs, our quads, and our glutes to support us, it's a good thing. That can help us out. The other thing is, if we do happen to fall, okay, the brain's going to, like I said, freak out. We have to retrain the brain to think, okay, I'm falling, how can I protect myself? Now, this is like nanoseconds from the time you slip to the time you hit the ground. You have a short amount of time to think, okay, how can I protect myself? That's a better conversation to have than, put in your favorite curse word there, right? Because that's typically what happens. We panic, we curse, and down we go, right? If we could say, okay, I'm falling, I'm going to fall more towards my shoulder. I'm going to fall more towards this way. Oh, if I could land, I could do this, I could do that, especially if you're going backwards, right? Because we don't want to smack our head, right? Again, we panic, we're going backwards. If we slip and go backwards, try to have our head up, try to protect our head the best we can, right? Because that's what's going to end up happening, excuse me. So hopefully that wasn't muffled, the rest of that. Who knows, hopefully not. But anyway, so yes, back to it. So slipping, we don't want, what we want to think about is, one, how can we carefully place it, especially with mud as well, how can we carefully place our foot to get us across if there is no other better way to get around, okay? And again, training the brain to say, how can I best protect myself from falling, okay? Or as we are falling, how can I protect myself, right? Instead of freaking out. Now, again, I brought up about how the brain freaks out in certain situations. One way to help is to calm our brain, calm our body, which is what I tell my clients to do. Deep breath into the nose, out through the mouth slowly. Because if we go or breathe in through our mouth, we're going to hyperventilate. We don't want to hyperventilate. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Right? Easy peasy, right? That's what we want. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Calm the body, calm the brain, right? And then we can proceed going forward. If we have a frantic brain, it's not going to help us in the long run. All we're going to do is panic. We're going to fall, whatever the case may be. All right? Moving forward. Exercises, okay? We've talked about having the leg closer to the wall or closer to the thing that's going to protect us. Balance. Again, this goes back to weather and ice and things and balance, okay? One of the biggest things, is teaching to stand on your leg and how long can you stand on your leg for? That's great. But where a lot of the balance really kicks in is those first couple, again, nanoseconds into something going wrong, right? So when I train my clients, I have them on a pad where they have them step onto the pad and then they have to balance for about 2 to 3 seconds, step back, bring the leg up, balance for another 2 to 3 seconds, and go forward again, right? Because it's that transition up onto the thing or onto the unstable surface that causes us to get off balance and fall, right? If we were able to fire our feet, our ankles, our quads, our butts, whatever the case may be, to help support us in that moment, right? It's that first couple little up and grip, right? Using our feet to grip, using our hip and our abs, and our quads, having a soft knee, having a soft ankle, because when we lock things out, we fall, okay? So it's those first couple things with balance of coming up, holding, 2 to 3 seconds. Back, 2 to 3 seconds, right? Then you want to switch feet and do the same thing again. Hold, 2 to 3 seconds. Back, 2 to 3 seconds. And you don't just want to do it forward and back, you got to do it sideways. Up, up, right? And when you go this way, make sure you lead with your hip. Up, go back this way, lead with your hip. And I have my clients do it backwards on a 45. Because guess what? Your muscles work differently going on a 45-degree angle than you do going forward and back and side to side. You have to train the muscles and balance in every different direction to get them used to it, to get the brain used to it, okay? Again, what we're doing is we're retraining the brain to be more confident in that way, right? Taking exercises and things like that, being confident in them, taking them and applying to the everyday world that we live in. Injuries, last one. Okay, with injuries, I've mentioned before a little bit here and there, if we have had a knee injury, hip, shoulder, ankle, name a major joint in the body, right? With those type of things, we are afraid to do exercises because we don't want to relive that pain, especially if we've had surgeries on them and things like that. And I totally, again, understand that. But there's ways to support the shoulder. There's ways to support the knee. There's ways to support the hip. There's ways to support the ankle. There's muscles around that will help support it. And just training those muscles and showing the brain that, hey, look, it's okay when we do these certain things that used to cause us maybe some pain. Again, define what pain can be. Because we're using the right muscles. We're using our abs as supporters. We're not using our shoulders. We're not tensing through our shoulders. When we tense through our shoulders, right, we get backaches, headaches, things like that. Use your abs to support you, not your shoulders, not your low back, and things like that. Areas that we would typically try to send tension to, okay? So, again, with injuries, yes, they are there. Yes, they are real. Yes, they have happened. Yes, you've had surgeries. But it's allowing the brain to see, okay, again, there's other muscles that can help support us during this time. Is it going to be perfect? No. But is there something? Yes. Is it a trial and error sometimes? Yes. And it does take a little bit to try to figure out the best way to do something. All right? So the more we do this stuff, the more we train our bodies prior to going out into the real world and showing our brain, hey, you know what does pain feel like? Is it really sharp stabbing pain or is it something else? You know, when I get up and down out of a chair, okay, I've got pain in my knee, but am I using my quad and my glutes to push me up? Am I pushing full-footed? Same thing going up and down the stairs, okay? A weaker leg has a hard time going up and down the stairs. Am I close to my banister? Am I close to my wall? How can I get myself up the stairs? Weather, okay, we have bad weather. How can I get around ice? How can I get around the mud? How can I safely get through something? Oh no, I'm falling. Okay, what's the best way to protect myself from falling? These are the conversations that we need to have with our brain, to retrain our brain to, yes, protect us, but also show it that, you know what, that we can do it and we can be confident, right? It's building the confidence in our body. All right, guys, that's it for today. It's a bit of a long one. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video. I guess they say like and subscribe on these things. Like and subscribe.